Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. I'm just having a blast with this little motorcycle around here. Normally I get the videos done maybe a week or two ahead of time and then post them later. But this motorcycle I have had done for 2 months. And I did the first and second and third video all kind of within the span of about 2 weeks. So I've been waiting to show you guys the end result for a while. And in the meantime, I've just been enjoying the heck out of this thing. I have put 60 miles on it. I know that 60 miles might not sound like a lot, but I'm just talking about here riding it around on my own property. I've been riding it almost every day. I found that it's a nice way to end my day of working out here in the shop. I get done with whatever I'm doing and jump on the bike and go for a 15-minute ride. And it's a nice way to unwind and kind of enjoy myself before I wrap things up for the day. So I'll show you the things that I've done since the last video. I guess we can start here with the shifter. It was kind of loose on the peg and it wasn't easy to select gears with because it was loose. So I took it off and the spline and the teeth were just fine actually. So all I did was chase the threads in the end here and got a grade 8 bolt and ran that through and cinched it down, even put a nut on the other side just because. And now the shifter is perfect. There's no slop in it at all. I found a choke lever handle on eBay. I also fixed the cable because it wasn't quite working before. So I installed the new lever and I made the cable work. So now we have a choke that actually works. And it actually helps quite a bit to start the bike when it's cold. You just kind of hold it in the open position and then press the button and kind of fiddle with it, and then the bike starts right up. I also got a new brake handle here. The other one was broken off at the end and it was kind of jagged. So I found this on eBay as well. And it feels much better in the hand because you don't have that sharp broken off piece on the end. I was missing one of these chrome covers for the air filter housing. So I found one of those on eBay as well. And then I made myself a bolt out of all thread, welded a nut on the end of it and goes all the way through. And having both covers on this now really cleaned up the look of the bike. And speaking of air filters, in the last video I had that old air filter assembly, you know, just the housing itself of the air filter. I had taken that apart and glued it all back together. And then I got some new air filter foam, got that installed on the old assembly, so it still fits perfectly and works well. I removed the old seat, completely disassembled it and de-rusted it. And my wife and I covered it with some new padding and some new vinyl. And it turned out pretty nice. Not bad for a couple of amateurs. We are definitely not upholsterers. So, and honestly, this is our second try. The first time we did it was kind of a failure, so we had to start over. But the second try turned out really good. I adjusted the chain tension. I got new pegs for both sides. And I got myself a spoke wrench because I wanted to see if the wheels were true or if I had to make any adjustments to the wheels themselves. I ended up not having to use the spoke wrench because the wheels are actually straight. The rear wheel is straight within 25 thousandths all the way around, and the front wheel is straight within 20 thousandths all the way around. So now as far as the rest of these cables go, they are all dry and old also. So I'm going to attempt to lube them and hopefully they will last a little while longer before I have to replace any of the others. I found this gizmo online that makes it possible to lube them while they're still on the bike. So I'm going to try it first with the front brakes and see if it works. Okay, we've got the cable free from the handle. Now let's see if it will fit in this clamp. The way this is supposed to work is you put the cable itself through here so the end is sticking out the end, and then the plastic sheath is in there, and then you clamp it down and you shoot lube through that hole, which goes into the inner side of the rubber thing and supposedly down the inside of the sheath of the cable. So you can see how I've got it. Now I'm going to clamp it down. So I'm going to try to hold it vertical so Most of it will go down the inside of the sheathing. And if the thing is working, we should see it leaking out the other end of the cable. Well, it's not exactly foolproof because it did get a lot of leakage, you know, around the top of the tool there, but it did get all the way through to the end of the cable. So that's pretty cool. That's a neat way to do it when they're still on the bike. I definitely wanted to mention the throttle cable as well. If you remember in the last video, it was broken. It had broken in the process of me looking around at the bike and inspecting things when I first got it. And what I did to fix that before I got the correct throttle cable for it was I got a universal throttle cable off of Amazon, and then I got this little wire coupler thing. I used that little wire coupler to connect the wires together, and that little thing worked perfectly for 2 months. You know, that was intended to be a temporary fix, but I think I could have left it on there because when I went to take it off to put this new cable on, the wires were still very tight. And because that thing works so well, I think it might be a good idea to include it into a little motorcycle toolkit, along with some wire cutters and an Allen wrench to fit it. That way, if I ever break a cable when I'm out on a trail somewhere, I could theoretically fix it right there on the spot. So that worked really well, but in the end, I wanted to get a proper throttle cable for the bike. So I ended up ordering one. It is now the proper length and everything looks right. Goes down into the coupler there, and then 2 cables come out the other side. So we ended up with a throttle cable that looks correct for the bike and is correct and works well. I do want to find some Yamaha emblems for both sides of the tank because the original ones were just plastic. They get old and brittle and eventually break and fall off. I might also install some kind of a container back here, like a box or a basket or a bag or something that I could use as a toolbox to run tools from here out to my other tractor there behind the garden shed when I want to work on it or anything else back there. And also for getting the mail, so I could put the envelopes and small packages in here. And besides some other cosmetic stuff, I do want to get 2 new tires for this because although these tires are holding air, they're very old and very dry. When I'm riding the bike in the dirt or the grass, the tires are just fine. But when I ride the bike, like in the rocks, for example, in front of our house here and around the back a little bit, the tires are very slippery. Same thing with the back tire here. It's just very old and dry and slippery. So I think I will do that. We'll make a video out of that too, just for fun. So this pretty much concludes this 3-part series on this old motorcycle barn find. I have had the best time with this bike, both working on it and especially riding it. Like I say, I ride it almost every day around here, and it always puts a smile on my face, kind of makes me feel like I'm a kid again. So I'll say so long for now. Check out antiquecarsandstuff.com. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for all the support. So I'm going to end this video with another ride around the property. So come along with me.